Okay, time for this month's book special, and this time we're playing a Stephen King themed game of Would You Rather. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Dave Musson, at Dave Musson on Instagram. This is the place where I talk to you about all things Stephen King. Now, normally at the moment I'm going through the movies and adaptations of Stephen King's works in chronological order week by week, but once a month I make sure to check back into the world of the books and bring you a book special, and that's what this episode is. And this episode is a little bit different as well, because I'm joining in with a tag that another YouTuber out there created and tagged me in just before Christmas. So that YouTuber is The Bookish Drummer. Go and check out his channel, it's great, loads of Stephen King stuff. And he's invited me to play in his little game of Stephen King Would You Rather. So 10 Would You Rather questions based around Stephen King that I'm going to answer completely off the cuff. I haven't even looked at the questions yet. I know you'll just have to trust me on that, but please do. I haven't looked at the questions yet. I'm going to pull them up when we start recording them, but I will drop the questions in the description so you can answer them as well. Do let me know what your answers are, and as I've already said, do go over and check out The Bookish Drummer as well, another great King channel for you to support. Okay, before we get into the Would You Rather questions, of which there are 10, I can't remember if I mentioned that already, just a couple of quick plugs from me. There are not 10 plugs, there are 3 plugs, so let's count them off. Number 1, you can check out my collection of short stories, Once More Around the Sun, which won some awards in 2024. Don't know why I said 2024. Hey, let's go with it. It won some awards that particular year. I'm very pleased about that. I'm very proud of it as a collection, and I've spent far too long talking about it now. Go and check it out if you like short horror stories. Number 2, you can check out my range of Stephen King themed band shirts. So if you've ever wanted a t-shirt that looks like the Run DMC logo but says Misery and Hobble This Way, or you want a t-shirt that looks like the Metallica logo with batteries on but it says the Tommyknockers, well, my range is just for you. Links in the description. And lastly, of course, you can become a constant viewer. That is my little phrase for being a member of this particular channel. That gets you early access to regular content. It gets you exclusive members only content and some fun emojis as well. And just the chance to be a part of a nice little community of Stephen King uber nerds like me. So again, link is in the description. Oh, let's sneak in a little quick plug as well. Feel free to just subscribe to this channel. Makes a massive difference, and it means you don't miss any future videos. There we go. Let's crack on, shall we? Okay, as I said, this is courtesy of The Bookish Drummer. This is 10 Would You Rather questions with a Stephen King theme. I'm going to look at them for the first time when I pick up and start recording it. Let me know your answers. I will drop the questions in the description once I upload this. Let's go. It's Would You Rather Stephen King edition. Okay then, question 1 is, would you rather be locked in a house with Annie Wilkes like Paul Sheldon in Misery, or be handcuffed to a bed like Jessie from Gerald's game? I mean, the advantage of being handcuffed to the bed like Jessie is that Annie Wilkes is not in the house. You are sort of left to your own devices. I mean, sure, the Moonlight Man comes along, but you're not entirely sure if he's real or not, so perhaps you can train your brain to block that out. And Prince the dog comes in, but again, like, he's more interested in eating your dead husband. But of course you are handcuffed to the bed and you need to eat and you need to drink. And at least with Annie Wilkes, she will feed you, she will water you, she will bathe you. She might also lop some of your limbs off as well. And, well, you know, you just never know quite when she's going to turn, do you? She's very hostile, very unpredictable. But she would let you do some writing, which might be nice. And the big thing for me is that degloving scene. I don't think, I could not do that to myself. So I would end up just being handcuffed to that bed and rotting away. So weird as it sounds, I think I'm going to go with Annie Wilkes. So question 2, would you rather be stuck under the dome or trapped in the grocery store during the mist? I think for me, I'd go for the grocery store in the mist. Like, much as that would be claustrophobic and horrible and you'd have Mrs. Carmody there, I don't know. I feel like you could take yourself away to a less populated aisle. You've got a decent supply of food there. And it's just mist, right? It's going to blow over eventually, surely. Whereas Under the Dome, I don't know, things just go really bad really quickly in there. I don't want to be anywhere near Big Jim or Junior, for that matter. So, yeah, I think I'm going to go for the mist. Tough choice, though. So question 3, would you rather live in Castle Rock or Derry? This is an easy one for me. It's Castle Rock all the way. Derry is like the most hostile, messed up little town that I can ever imagine existing. Everything about that town is wrong and dark and evil. And Castle Rock, while it's had some strange things happen to it, but look at the Castle Rock in the Gwendy stories, it's a perfectly nice place to live. And I don't know, the Castle Rock stories just feel a little bit nicer than the Derry ones, and I just don't want to risk bumping into Pennywise. So Castle Rock for me. To question 4, would you rather be snowed in at the Overlook Hotel with Jack Torrance or spend a night in room 1408? I mean, wow. So nobody has lasted more than an hour in room 1408. So I suppose this question depends, like, am I going to survive the hour with am I going to survive the night in room 1408? Because if I am, then a night on my own in a hotel, yeah, I'd take that. I mean, I guess if you're in the Overlook with Jack for the winter, well, it kind of depends how you play it with him. If you just roll with his mood changes, then maybe you'll be okay and just go with it. But he probably will end up killing you. I mean, maybe if I'm going to spend the winter with Jack, I'll say, look, I'll look after the boiler. You feel free to look at all those scrapbooks and stuff. And hey, we've got a whole hotel to ourselves. So maybe you stay. You have that end, I'll have this end. And when you're feeling all right, we'll maybe have lunch together sometime. So I don't know. If it's the normal rules for 1408, I'm going to go for winter in the Overlook. But if you can guarantee I survive and keep my mind, then I'll take that night in the Dolphin Hotel. Thank you very much. Question 5. Would you rather be forced to participate in the events of the Long Walk or the Running Man? They're the train. Train! So the Long Walk or the Running Man? I mean, I think I'd go for the Running Man, because at least with the Running Man, like, I've gotten fairly good at hide and seek because my kids are into it. So, and you get a head start, right, with the Running Man. So I feel like I'm quite good at blending into the background. People don't really notice me. So I think that would serve to my advantage. And also you get the chance to rest in the Running Man. Like the Long Walk, once you start, if you stop, you're dead unless you win. But that's like highly unlikely. 1 in 100 chances of winning, literally. And yeah, just the idea of constantly walking and being surrounded by people who just want to talk to you. Like, again, the Running Man, you get some solitude. You don't have to deal with other people. So I'm going for that. So question 6, would you rather only be able to read Old King, so before 2000, or New King, 2000 and later? I mean, that is a tough question because I like a lot of his stuff post 2000. And if I ditch that, then I'd never be able to read Lacey's Story or Do McKee or 1122 or Revival or You Like It Darker. But on the flip side, if I only keep the newer stuff, then I'm losing my all-time favourite King book, In the Dead Zone, as well as things like It and Christine and Cujo and Night Shift. This is the toughest one so far. I think at a push I'll go for the older stuff because then I get the 90s run as well, which I really like. But yeah, that's hard. That is really hard. If you're only going to answer one of these questions yourself, let me know your answer to that one because that is tough. Question 7. Would you rather only be able to read the Dark Tower series or only be able to read every King book besides the Dark Tower series? Easy for me. I'd rather read all the books that aren't the Dark Tower series. Dark Tower series is great. Very impressive. I enjoyed it while I've read it. But yeah, I'm not really that bothered about it. Whereas all his other stuff I am. So yeah, I could happily live without the Dark Tower stuff, for sure. Question 8. Would you rather only be able to read Stephen King novels or only be able to read Stephen King short story or novella collections? Oof. Now that is another That is another tough question. Some of this depends on whether I can take my existing knowledge with me. So if it's like, okay, I've read everything at least twice, and from this point onwards, you get to keep the memories of those stories, but the only things you can reread are these two categories. In that case, I would go for just the short stories and novellas, because there's something really satisfying about getting in, getting done, and getting out again. And it would free me up with a lot more time to explore more books by people who aren't Stephen King. However, if we're talking your memory has all been wiped and we're going back to the start and you can only have one or the other, then I'll probably plump for the novels, because his novels are absolutely great. But I don't know, he is so good at the shorter form that maybe I would just keep those. Maybe I would just keep those after all. So question 9, would you rather only be able to read King books that are less than 500 pages or more than 500 pages? I would probably go for the less than 500 pages. I like him when his writing is tighter and punchier. And so many of his classics are still under 500 pages. And it would mean I wouldn't have to read The Stand again. I mean, sure, I wouldn't get It or Do McKee or 1122 as well. But no, I think I'm going to go for 500 pages. Not many books need to be more than 500 pages in general, do they? Really? So, again, I'll keep it under 500 pages and then I can just read more. The final question, question 10. Would you rather only be able to read Stephen King horror books, such as Sounds Like The Shining, It, Pet Sematary, Revival, etc., or only be able to read Stephen King non-horror books, Different Seasons, 1122, Mr. Mercedes, Dark Tower, The Green Mile, etc.? Oof, tough. Because I'm guessing that The Dead Zone would be counted as a non-horror book, even though it has a lot of horror elements, and that is my favourite. But as a genre, horror is my favourite, and I like more of his horror stuff than I do his non-horror stuff, so I think I'll keep the horror books. Particularly as a horror writer myself, it'd be worth it to keep those classics of the genre to go back to and read for inspiration. And it would mean I'd never have to read Holly Gibney again, which, fine by me. So there we go, that's the Would You Rather Stephen King edition. Thanks so much to the Bookish Drummer for creating that tag and for tagging me in it. Again, go and check out his channel and let me know your answers to these 10 questions. I've popped them in the description. You can answer all of them, you can just answer a couple of them, but I'd love to hear what you think. And that's your book special for this month. Hope you enjoyed it. Do come back soon, check out my own collection of stories, become a member of this channel if you want to, or at the very least subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. And, well, I'll be back next time, back on the trail of the movies and TV shows, and back with another book special next month as well. So take care, thanks for watching, and bye-bye.